The man who broke into Speaker Nancy Pelosi's home and beat her 82-year-old husband with a hammer wanted to hold her hostage and break her kneecaps to send a gruesome message to the rest of Congress. That's according to the FBI. The Justice Department and San Francisco's district attorney have now both brought charges against David DePape. The state charges include attempted murder and assault with a deadly weapon. The federal charges, attempted kidnapping of a federal official and assaulting a federal official's family member with the intent to intimidate. The criminal complaint contains chilling new details and disturbing confessions from the suspect himself about what he was planning to do. Investigators say DePape was on a mission and came prepared when he broke into Speaker Pelosi's San Francisco home on Friday. They say he brought zip ties, a rope, a roll of tape, a pair of rubber gloves, a pair of cloth gloves, and a hammer. Police say DePape told them that his plan was to take Speaker Pelosi hostage and talk to her. He said if she told him the truth, he'd let her go. But if she lied, he would smash her kneecaps. And DePape said he expected her to lie. It's unclear what he meant by really that. Police say DePape later explained that by breaking Speaker Pelosi's kneecaps, she would have to be wheeled into Congress, which would show other members of Congress there were consequences to actions. Of course, Speaker Pelosi was not home. Instead, DePape found her husband, Paul, asleep in bed in the middle of the night. Investigators now painting a clearer picture of how the home invasion and vicious hammer attack went down. CNBC's Scott Cohn live outside their family home. Scott.
Shep, we just heard a few minutes ago from San Francisco District Attorney Brooke Jenkins about those state charges. Addressing reporters, she said it was clear that DePape targeted the Pelosi home and Nancy Pelosi herself, and that his actions were politically motivated. And with the federal complaint filed earlier in the day, we have a lot more answers to the questions we've been asking since Friday. Among them, that Paul Pelosi was alert enough, despite a fractured skull and serious injuries to his arm and hand, to talk to investigators in the ambulance and again at the hospital yesterday, describing a terrifying ordeal. David DePape, police say, talked to investigators too after being read his rights, giving them an unsettling glimpse into his head. What was David DePape thinking when he broke into the home of the Speaker of the House in the middle of the night? That he was like the Founding Fathers, fighting against tyranny without the option of surrender. That Nancy Pelosi was the leader of the pack of lies told by the Democratic Party, and that he was there to get the truth from her by force. DePape, who police say lived in a garage across the San Francisco Bay in Richmond, California, 25 miles away, told police he was tired from carrying his backpack of kidnapping tools all the way to the Pelosi home. So he wanted to tie Paul Pelosi up and get some sleep while they waited for Nancy Pelosi to come home. But first, he allowed Pelosi to go to the bathroom, where he managed to call 911. Police say that DePape told them that he knew about that 911 call, but he didn't flee because of his mission to fight tyranny. Police arrived to find the two struggling with a hammer, they say, and that's when they say DePape smashed Paul Pelosi, 82 years old, in the head. DePape is being held without bail. He'll be arraigned tomorrow on those state charges. Shep, police say that in addition to all of those other items in his backpack, he was carrying a journal.
Scott Cohn, live in San Francisco.